All right. So this is episode 2 of the Sushicast. I was at a Taco Bell drive-thru on a call with Gabby, and we were reading the patch notes and talking about them, and I figured we should probably record this. So we have GabbsGames. This is where you say something.
Hi.
And we were talking about who would be probably the most interesting to have on and talk about it with us, and probably the most passionate and vocal, right? It's probably SkylineCorsair.
Hello.
Hello. Do the thing. Do the thing.
Hello.
There we go. So
Perfect.
the patch notes for the developer update, January 2021, dropped maybe a couple hours ago, I feel like. And there's a lot of shit that is talked about in the patch notes. Let's talk about the HUD update first. What do you guys think about the HUD?
I can go first. I think it's dog shit. Like, just look at it. So from what we went from for the last 4 years, everything used to be in the bottom left. You have the perks in the bottom right, but you have all the information in the bottom left. You've got the generators right there. You've got your power or your item when you're a survivor, the add-ons, and you have the people, the survivors that are in the match. But now what they've done is they've essentially converted the HUD from being a PC game into a mobile game, at least in my opinion. Like, why would I be looking at the top of my screen to know how many generators are left? And then if you look to the top left, it looks like you're in a Discord call, which I think is really tacky. Yeah. It's really tacky.
It looks literally like a Discord overlay.
Yeah, and I feel like they're gonna run into like problems with that. Like, not saying it's like copywritten or anything, but people are gonna be like, isn't that like what Discord does? And people are gonna get confused, and Discord's gonna come in and be like, yeah, that looks like our design. You want to talk about it?
So overlays have been around for a long time, and they've been about the same for a while. I think that they're now that you said that, I think they're probably trying to match the Discord overlay for people who use the overlay, and maybe make it so people can put like their chat next to the player, that maybe some sort of integration. You know what I mean?
I feel like that wouldn't work though.
Maybe.
Because I mean, you can't guarantee where you're going to be on that list.
That's true.
It's just like you're always going to be the top, and it's just like if you're the top in the game doesn't mean you're the top name like in your Discord, or vice versa. Like it's never going to like line up.
I don't like how spread out it is, for sure. That's a problem. It does look like a mobile game now that I'm looking at it. It looks like you can put your thumbs on the perks and stuff, and
exactly. And then one thing I did notice though was the hook counter. That's going to be very valuable information, not only for the survivors but the killers as well. That way you can tell, oh, I've hooked this person this amount of times. I've hooked this person. I know they just got off hook. Like, you don't have to keep it all in your head. Like, I know that's something that killer mains pride themselves on, is being able to keep like, tally of which survivor's been on hook, who just got unhooked, who is going for the unhooks, and it keeps them, keeps it fresh for them in the game. But I know some people get confused.
Which hook I'm on.
Yeah.
Some people get confused and they're like, well, I thought I was on my first hook, when actually they're on their death hook. So it can get kind of confusing from game to game, especially if you're just playing match after match after match. You just keep going. You don't stop for breaks or anything.
Yeah, time kind of melts, especially when you're the type of people that we are, that play in the middle of the night with barely any sleep.
True.
And just caffeine coursing through us. I feel like they really need to make this HUD modular, because I'm looking at the HUD and the perks are real big, and then the top left is real small, and the bottom left, it seems like it's, I don't know. I wish that you can resize everything, but individually, right? Rather than just as a whole. But I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Like, I definitely
even make it modular and customizable, like how WoW has it, where you can download an add-on and it just moves the HUD around, rather than using it doesn't change the gameplay, but it just moves things.
Well, I feel like what they should do is so back in, I believe it was around June, July-ish, there was a change with the resolution, 1440p, the HUD became super big. It was the same size as it was on 1920 or 1080p. And I, for one, I welcome that change because it allowed me to see things better. I didn't have to squint and be like, well, who's that? What's the name of that person? Like, no, I could actually see it. And then like on the blood web, like things were just a bit bigger. And it wasn't so much of a pain in the ass to like narrow down like my cursor to like a little bubble or whatever. Like it just made it simple and it made it easy to read. Like I can just chill back in my chair and not have to be like getting all up on my screen being like, what does that say? What does that say? I can't read that. Like, and this is coming from somebody that has 20/20 vision. Like, I don't have glasses, but I'm sure the people that have glasses, like, they probably get really annoyed.
Gabby has trash vision.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Coming from somebody on like the other side of things, like, you know, you say you have 20/20 vision. I have horrible eyes. And so taking like this new HUD into consideration, I like how they're doing it. I think they're trying to make it as simple as possible to where it's just like your eyes go towards like if you're looking for like how many gens are left, like it's trying to tailor to where it's just like you have one way to see like where the gens are, and it's not like everything's compobbled in like one like left corner. Like I get what they're coming from with like why they're doing this, but I feel like the reason that they're like trying to separate things is I wonder if they're gonna end up using this to add more like things into the game. Maybe like, you know, new like status abilities versus like, you know, like mangled and like, you know, when you have sloppy butcher and stuff like that. I wonder if they're trying to simplify it to add more like in the future. Is kind of like what I was thinking as to why they're like doing this, like breaking
maybe
everything
just
up.
display it more streamlined. Like rather than the little circle counter, there'll be a couple lines maybe on like your UI that says, okay, you have 10 seconds left of this add-on, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it could lead into that. I think it also is probably geared more towards, you know, helping
Introduction to the game.
Like not really that, but
players.
Also, yeah, kind of like a more new player type thing towards like, for instance, like if you see in like the like survivor standpoint of the new HUD, it's like you can see and like really remember like what like add-ons you have for your items and stuff like that. And like same thing for like the killers and stuff. You see like the add-ons you're using a little bit more clear versus it being super tiny right beside like how many generators are left. You know what I mean? So it's just like I think it's just enhancing to where you can make everything a little bit more visible than just cluttered into one corner.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
Anything else on the HUD?
I think that's
it. Yeah, I think. All right, animations. They're adding new animations. What do you guys think?
Well, one thing I noticed from the animations that I found really interesting: flashlights. Flashlights can be used while crouched now. That's going to add a bunch of possibilities in, and it's going to be very annoying for killers now. Like, they're really going to have to check every little nook and crannies to make sure there's not a survivor just hiding there with a cheeky flashlight.
It's
and then they
tight.
think, oh, it's easy to pick up. The survivor picks up, and then, oh, here comes the beam from over this little log, and it gets right in my eyes. Fuck me.
The holding of the chest, I'm not huge on. That shit looks weird.
The what?
Like I mean, that's what.
Oh
injured,
yeah, the injured. Like, yeah.
It looks like you're holding a football and like trying to blitz through someone. You know what I'm saying? That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, but I mean they've done that for the last 4 years though, like holding themselves like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think the way it looks when you're injured, that's the only one where I feel like it just looks weird. I don't know. It just doesn't look as natural, I guess, because we're so used to like how it's looked for, 4 years. And so now it's just like a different way of doing it. And I don't know. It's interesting.
I'm definitely interested to see how this affects moonwalking because that has been my latest thing.
The first thing they showed in the video on this patch is someone moonwalking while injured.
Yeah.
It does not affect moonwalking.
That's true.
They said it does not. They're just saying, don't worry, you guys are gonna be fine.
More content. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, I think that I'm all about adding more animation. Like I think there should be even more than this. Like in some games, have you ever noticed like running is if it has like a tactile feel in some games where like if you're juking left and you immediately juke right, your character model sometimes does this like shift, like you're gripping the ground. I wish that they would add more of that shit to the game because when I explained this game,
they added the dust effects to the footprints and stuff, like when you're running, like you can see like the dust kicking up and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. Now, if they were to add in what you're talking about, like tactile movement, that'd be kind of cool too. It definitely add another layer of realism to the game.
Yeah, because when I explain the game to people, it's like literally like parkour while being chased, right? And just the better that feels and looks, it just makes the game like better, right? I feel like vaults should be changed, like medium vaults and slow vaults. I feel like there should be a variation to the animations sometimes, rather than just sped up and slowed down.
True. I agree with that, because I mean, medium vaults can sometimes be taken for slow vaults, and it's kind of a jarring. Like, it shouldn't be like a faster slow vault. It should be like its own unique vault.
Yeah, and maybe depending on the surface that you're vaulting, it could be different too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Anything else on animation?
I was gonna say, one thing that I know it's super small that they changed that I don't even know if anybody really picked up on it. Like when you get downed, it's like an actual like more dramatic thing when you
the camera goes with it.
Yeah, you kind of like take a little dramatic fall versus just plopping your fucking body on the ground. Like they actually made it look a little bit more of like how it'd be a little bit more realistic.
Well, I think if they're doing that though, like hitboxes definitely need to be looked into ASAP, because as it is right now, like if that happens, like you're not even gonna see the weapon, and you're gonna be falling down on the ground. You're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, as it is now, sometimes you see blood just coming out of thin air, right? Especially on vaults.
Pretty much.
So it's like, yeah, that's just something that's completely different, I feel like. Yeah. But matchmaking rating and rank rewards.
This is something that I've been excited for like months now, but at the same time, I
can't remember you telling me like, yo, get rank 1 at the end of the month, get that 250K, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah, nothing ever came of that, because I thought that there was a leak or whatever saying that it got merged into the live version of the game, which is obviously fake. And I was really mad because I got reset to rank 5. I'm like, where's my extra 500,000 blood points behavior? Hello? But like, it's nice to see that they're adding in like reward incentives, but now that they're bringing in rank reset, like from like if you're rank 1, doesn't matter what rank you're at, like you're going all the way back to rank 20. Like this is going to be a shit show,
I feel like,
but it is all about skill based now.
MMR, but I think it's going to add, I feel, something else to do, because like we play at red ranks all the time. Fucking end of the month comes, we get like to 4. What is it? 4? We reset to 4.
Reset to 5. 5.
Yeah, reset to 5.
We like after like maybe a night we're rank 1 again. Like it's nothing.
That's true.
But now we gotta play from 20 at the end of the month and grind back up. So it gives us something else to do.
Yeah, it definitely gives that incentive of like for people that do, play the game as much as we do, because I'm pretty sure we all play this game almost every single day. And I think it'll definitely add that like goal of reaching the top rank in the game. But at the same time, it's going to be weird like throughout the month where it's like you're supposed to be paired with MMR. And so when we typically like for in solo queue, when we randomly get like a rank 17 in our game and you're like the only red rank, and it's super kind of like depressing, but like now it's going to be like a normal thing. It's going to be a normal thing because it's going to be like rainbow lobbies all the time, because just because maybe we played all the time and we hit red ranks after the first week or so, we could still be playing with like rank 16s that are the same skill level as us. It's going to be weird.
We're just going to have to look at ranking differently. Like the game, like the ranking as we know it differently.
It's going to be more viewed as like how much you play the game, which is
I'm excited I went over with you that when we're duo queuing or solo queuing, we're going to probably stop running into urban evasion red ranks.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm sure that's going to affect matchmaking rating when you're just kind of like immersing around.
I also feel though, if it's implemented properly, I feel like when we become like higher MMR, that gonna start seeing the same killers over and
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's gonna be
you don't
annoying.
notice, you don't realize, Gabby, but we play a lot of the same people all the time already.
Yeah.
It's only, but it's going to be worse. Yeah. And I'm also worried about queues as well and how that's going to affect. Like, I feel like this is a patch and it might not affect anything given the population of the game currently. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think
because right now, if there's not a lot of red ranks queued, you're gonna get paired with purples and greens, and just the queue is gonna be longer, right?
I mean, would it be longer versus like, for instance, if there's X amount of people that are around the same skill level as us, you know, people that have like near 1,000 or a little bit over 1,000 hours in the game, and let's just say there's 50 of us queued at one time or something like that, whatever number you want to throw out there, instead of like, you know, one person getting stuck with people that are like brand new to the game, and then like we maybe will get someone that has, you know, 300-400 hours in the game. It'll pair us all together. And it's just like, would that actually make the queues faster, or would they make them even worse? Like, that's my
I think
question.
it's gonna make it worse. It's gonna be worse.
One thing I'm not looking forward to is that people have said it before, but like with the whole MMR system, like those that are gonna be in red ranks, like killers, like you're saying, like you're gonna go against the same ones, but it's gonna be typically like Spirit, Nurse,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, maybe Hag.
Yeah, they
like,
said that the MMR is gonna be based with killers specifically to specific killers they play. So if there's like, we're playing like a Ralph, right, who only plays Huntress, his matchmaking rating on Huntress is going to be high, but on like say a Hag, it's going to be low as fuck. It's going to be like nothing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be weird for sure.
But what I think they should also do though is they should be able to have like, has this player gone against this killer previously? Like not the specific player themselves, but the killer. Like, let's say player A went up against Spirit in their last match, and then player A queues up again. Is player A going to get Spirit again? Like, I think people want variety in this game. They don't play to keep playing against the same killer. They want different killers to go against, different play styles, different match outcomes. Because if they keep getting Spirit over and over, they're just going to quit and just be like, you know, I'm done. Like, this is boring. I keep going against the same type of killer. I'm not having fun at all. Like, see you later behavior. I'm going to go find another game. Whereas if, you know, if they get a Spirit, they get a Trapper, and then they get like a Bing Bong, maybe they'll be like, okay, well, I got fucked in the first game. My second game was kind of fun, and then third game was a lot of fun, just for an example. And so I think they need to make sure that there's like there's a way of checking like what killer they go up against in the previous match, and then making sure that they either go against like something completely different, or I don't know what they could do differently. But
well, it'd be that particular thing you're talking about will become easier, since I feel like most killer mains, they're gonna stick to what they're best at if they're playing in MMRs, right? So, or to push to MMR. But anything else on this? All right, graphics update. They're gonna be redoing Gideon Meat Plant and the Pren Asylum. What do you guys think of that?
Definitely a lot more color in the Gideon Meat Plant, just from the concept art that they presented.
It's so bright.
It's a lot brighter, which is nice because the game is one of the darker maps out there.
For sure.
And especially if you're playing like on Ultra, like it's dark as fuck down there. Like it's kind of ridiculous. But if you're playing on low, like I'm sure most competitive players are, it's not that dark, but it's still pretty dark.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that it's not as bright as it is. Like, I'm hoping that we'll see we're seeing it without the mist, the static mist that the game has, right? And there's going to be static mist.
Why
I'm
would
also
you want
hoping
it to
that
be darker. I mean, like,
I don't know, more corner text. I don't know. Like, it looks like a Walmart. It looks like a well lit Walmart.
It's a
kind of
Walmart.
a little bit, very dirty.
It literally looks like a Walmart. Just add shelves and a couple strollers. You know what I mean? And you got a fucking Walmart. Like, it looks It
Does
looks
that
insane.
mean I can take a shopping cart in there and freaking take all the loot out with me?
Dude, dead ass. If you added a shopping cart, this would literally be a Walmart map. Like, it's insane. Like the back of a Walmart, granted, but
Like, I kind of hope they're gonna add more references to the Saw movies in the map too. Like,
that'd be cool. More Easter eggs.
We got the original bathroom already. Like, what if they were to add like something else? You know?
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope for sure.
Yeah, because we were talking about earlier. There's a lot of people who play this game and to play it for DVD, and there's some other people who play it because they were into the franchises that the movies, the movie tie-ins came in, like with the Stranger Things and the Saw and all that stuff.
Yep,
and
that's true.
The fucking Pyramid Head would. That's not a movie. That's a game.
Silent Hill.
Silent
Hill. I mean, it's both video game and movie. Yeah. So,
but as far as Asylum, that looks like it might be brighter too.
I thought it looked darker.
Yeah, it looks darker.
Well, the inside of the Asylum looks darker, right, with the picture they sent us. But this is concept art. This is like literal art.
Yeah, it doesn't guarantee what you're going to see.
The outside of it looks like there's sun or some sort of light source.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But that map, out of all maps, besides the swamp needs to be changed for sure. But the Asylum needs a fucking makeover. That map looks like dog shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if I recall correctly, Asylum was like the first set of maps out of the original that they added into the game. So, like, I mean, it's been in the game for so long. Like, it needs some help for sure.
But yeah, those the maps. Anything else in the maps? Maybe Gideon will be less dog shit.
Well, yeah, hopefully with Gideon, I hope that there's more ways of figuring out where the stairs are on the fucking map. Like, I know there's the decals that point you to where the stairs are, but I still feel like there's players out there that get lost as shit down there because it's not as clear as it could be,
Looking at the art, there's these yellow lines on the floor that might be able to get used to and follow the right direction, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, they could also do something. I mean, like with Larry's, they have the like flashing lights, like where the generators are. Like they could do something like that with lighting. Like I know you had mentioned earlier when they first released these photos. I think you two both talked about it. To where if they had it to where it was brighter near where you can where the stairs are, like where you can go up, like having the lighting be brighter to where like when you're downstairs, if it's like darker like elsewhere and just like the rooms and stuff, but as soon as you get into a room where there's like a staircase, like it's lighter to where you can like see to know where you can go
that'd be definitely dope.
Yeah.
And kind of you can kind of see how it does do that though. In the first Gideon picture where the staircase is, like, it is kind of more illuminated at the staircase, so
there's a bunch of headlights.
It could happen, yeah.
But let's talk about the Wraith change. I feel like we've encountered a developer in game already playing this new Wraith. I'll put that clip on screen during this because we encountered a Wraith that had true invisibility. Mm-hmm. For sure. It was weird.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I know for the people listening, so they're making it to where he's completely invisible outside of 24 meters. And then he kind of goes more into his normal, the way he looks now when he hits around the 16-meter range. But no, I know for me personally, I feel like that's a little too close because especially if they use uncloaking add-ons, which I have a feeling they're going to stay the same, you can be popped up on with without even being able to react. I feel like it's almost too close. I feel like I would personally feel like it would do spine chill range, like the 32 meters to make him completely I guess his normal state of visibility.
A way to balance that I feel like is slow his speed down. In stealth.
Well, I mean, he's already his add-ons are extremely powerful, especially if you use his purple and green to make him fast and the uncloak speed and stuff. I feel like
it's like slap, slap, slap. It's kind of stealth.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like if for the Hexcomb Clapper, I think it is, that's the one where he has a silent bell. Yeah. I think that they should add on a restriction to it that if you use that, you lose that burst of speed that you get when you're uncloaking, because you have the advantage of no sound being made by the bell. You shouldn't be getting a speed burst with that too, because that shit's pretty fucking powerful if you
And
use
being
it.
extremely like not even noticeable now.
Right.
Yeah,
that too.
there's plenty of add-ons on killers that have downsides too, and that should definitely be a downside to that.
Yeah.
Or just
I think his
some
iridescence
things are just too
definitely
good.
his iridescent definitely needs to be, I think, tweaked to make it to where like him being completely invisible and then completely silent isn't gonna like ruin everything for like the
Yeah.
survivors, because like that'd be a horrible experience. You can't see him,
I
you
feel
can't
like-
hear him, and if you match that with like I think it's Ghost, his like brown add-ons, where he's still like undetectable for 6 seconds after uncloaking, it's just like that can be terrifying, especially on like indoor maps and stuff. Like you have no way of seeing him and you can't even hear him. It's just like there has to be some kind of downside to that.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I feel like this is coming from some wraiths that, sometimes they get bullied, right? They get 2 flashlights in a game, and you're just getting burned constantly, and whenever you're spotted. So I think that this is coming from that, just kind of a counter to flashlights, right?
I don't even think it's that. I mean, Wraith's primary ability is being invisible, and I think it's to help on like Auto Haven, for instance. A lot of the new tiles in Auto Haven maps are extremely low to where you can like kind of like see over it, and you could be sitting on a generator, and across the map you see the wraith coming towards you, and it's like you're able to react like accordingly. And now that kind of prohibits you being able to run away completely when you see him coming towards you. It's more of like, I think it's to help the more open maps to where you're not spotted from 50 meters away, which I kind of feel like is fair, since he doesn't really have he doesn't have like an insta down. He doesn't have anything that's like super strong. Like he has his one ability, which is to be invisible. So I think that's just to help that.
Trapper changes. What do you think?
I've noticed this. Like getting trapped like in a trap really sucks, because I mean, sometimes you get out on the first try, sometimes it takes you like 10, 15 times to get out of the trap. And this is all while the trapper is coming at you. Like, it kind of, like, having it be a flat distribution is going to be a lot nicer, I think. But it still leaves it up to chance, though. Like, it says like up to a maximum of 6 attempts for what I'm reading on the notes.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, though. But like, it definitely heightens the intensity, I think. Like you should be able to know, like, oh, if I step in this trap and trapper's all the way on the other side of the map, that means that gives me enough time to escape this trap. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just too completely random. It's too completely random. Before.
I understand. Like, I feel like this change not going to impact too terribly much, in my opinion, just because I feel like the majority of the times when you typically will step in a trap is when you're actually in chase. So the amount of times you get to like try to get out of a trap won't really be affected. It's definitely just affecting like if you get trapped across the map and he's maybe not in chase, he's like setting up somewhere else, like you get trapped and you try to escape, you get a little bit more of a chance. But I'm curious as to like, isn't there an add-on that he has to where it's like it makes it extremely impossible to get out? I wonder how they're gonna like, I know they mentioned that they're gonna like change the add-ons in a way. I'm just curious as to like how they're gonna change that current add-on. Like, is it
I think you're referring to the wax brick.
Yeah, to make it like extremely impossible to get out. Because I know there's been multiple times I've gone against Trapper and I've sat there for like 20 attempts to get out, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah, it's really annoying when that happens. I know when I played Trapper and I was going for like the achievement of trapping or grabbing 100 survivors out of bear traps, like I would throw wax brick on and still they'd get out in like one try. I'm just like, hello game, can you throw me a bone here? Like, I want to just pick up the survivors out of my traps. And that's just how fucking random number generators are. So
so small things we can go over. The deep wounds change. I'm not too sure.
I
don't think
don't
that
really
affects
feel
much.
like
It's
yeah.
just that doesn't need to be talked about. Diversion, the pebble, it's gonna have a lower cooldown. That's cute.
That's going to be very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more of like a
For-
fun perk.
Yeah. Hex Undying change.
Hey, you skipped over fixated.
Yeah, why would you skip
Who cares
fixated?
about fixated?
Well, they made fixated like the walking version of Urban Evasion, basically. Like it actually makes the perk like a little bit more useful, in my opinion, if you're running it with Sprint Burst. I mean, you don't have to be full health to be able to like, get that burst of,
That's true.
extra speed. So
Fixated is a cool perk for sure. It's a cool perk.
Hex Undying, the most
Hex
important
Undying,
one.
the most important patch note in this entire thing. Now if you find a hex and you cleanse it, it's Undying.
Yep, that's going to be very nice now. Although it does kind of take away the real meaning behind Undying. Like, when you hear Undying, you think it never ends, and kind of never does. And in some matches, like, you get on a spicy totem because Ruin's up, because you've already touched Gen and it's already regressing. You get on the spicy totem, you pop it, and you're still cursed, and you're like, well, fuck, that was Ruin. Let's go find another spicy totem. Get another spicy totem. That's also not Undying. Get another one. Also not. It just keeps going on.
But that's also not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. And it can be, easily countered with like a map, but it's good that they're making it to where the first totem that you cleanse is Undying, and then you've got to actually find the real totem.
Yeah, you still have to find the real totem. Yeah.
Well, okay, now wait, like just to clarify, I thought the way it was worded, like, so for instance, if the two perks that you're running is just Hex Ruin and Hex Undying, if you cleanse one totem, that would be Ruin is the way it reads to me, and then the Ruin and then becomes the Undying. Undying is then converted into Ruin to where the Ruin will bounce to the other totem. That's the way it read to me.
Oh, that's way too complicated.
I don't know what you just said to me.
Okay, listen. Like step 1, it says transferring the same hex multiple times can get out of hand. Hexes are meant to be strong perks that can be destroyed, and having to destroy the same hex 4 times can be a bit much. Then it says anytime a hex totem is cleansed, so for instance, Hex Ruin is cleansed, it will replace the Hex Undying totem. So when you cleanse Hex Ruin, it replaces the Hex Undying totem. So the way the map starts, if you just run Ruin and Undying, you have 5 totems. 2 of them are lit. If you end up cleansing Ruin, it bounces to that already lit totem, which is Undying, which would then become Hex Ruin. And then it says, and then Hex Undying is then deactivated. This ensures that the first totem cleansed is never your other hex perk.
Right, so it's Undying first then.
Yeah. I guess it's technically Undying first, but it could still technically be your Ruin totem.
Did you just explain what I said differently?
The way you worded it, though, is just...
in, like, 4 paragraphs?
The way you put it, though, is, like, you're saying that you cleanse Hex Undying first, which...
It's always Undying.
Yeah, it'll always be Undying
the way that they literally said it is that when any hex totem is cleansed, it replaces your Undying. So you just said that it's always Undying first, not technically. Like, it's technically you're replacing it.
If you cleanse Ruin, it's Undying, right? Is that what you're saying?
Basically. I mean, so you get on a spicy totem, and before this patch, well, how it is right now, you got a 50-50 chance of it being either Undying or Ruin. If you pop Ruin's gonna bounce to another totem. But if you get Undying first, you're still cursed, but Ruin cannot bounce anymore. So basically that's what it's gonna be now. It's gonna be every time you get a spicy totem, it's no longer 50-50, it's a 100% chance. Yeah, 100% chance that it's gonna be Undying, and then the next one's gonna be either Ruin or Devour. Or Huntress Lullaby, whichever hex perk you like to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Maiden has a longer duration.
Hey,
That's going to be a lot more fun with Huntress now.
Mm-hmm.
One other comment with the Undying, though, is I think is extremely strange that they chose to make it to where the aura reading part of the perk is on dulls and not on lit totems. Like I thought it would be vice versa.
Because it
Well, Thrill of the
decreases
Hunt already,
camping shit,
well, yeah,
right?
that and Thrill of the Hunt gives a notification when somebody starts working on the totem, so it kind of discourages the use of Thrill of the Hunt, which obviously the developers want. You know, they want multiple perks being in use rather than just the same meta perks being in use all the time.
Yeah, that's true. It did kind of make Thrill of the Hunt relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Iron Maiden change, higher duration, which is good.
Open-handed's getting changed too. I thought that one's kind of weird.
I mean, I feel like it's like good and bad. What's the base right now on open-handed? Like the range?
I don't
can't
know.
remember.
I think it's 4-8-12. Let me check.
I can't remember what
So-
the base of it was.
No, 4, 6, 8 meters. So 4 for tier 1, 6 for
Oh,
tier 2,
it's
8
nothing.
for tier 3. Yeah, it's pretty garbage. But it stacks. It stacks amongst
yeah.
all 4 survivors. So
Yeah.
you get up to 32 meters. So
technically they're like nerfing it, but also making it to where you have potentially 3 extra like perk slots on your friends. You know what I mean? So it's like a give and take. You know, it's like you only get up to 16 meters, but only one person has to run it. You know?
Yeah. It makes it synergize well with Swifts. Like rather than having to get a bunch of shit and like wasting that slot.
I mean, how often do you see, a team running open-handed? You don't.
Not really.
Yeah. I feel like it'll yeah, I don't know. Or reading abilities. I don't know. Second wind. Does anyone use that?
I don't use second wind, but I do think it needs less time for it to heal the user, because at the rate it is right now, like it's really dog shit. Like there's a reason why nobody runs second wind for the most part.
I want more perks to be good. I want to use different perks. So
yeah,
I'm all about the change of all these.
Yeah, some of the more perks you don't see, making them a little bit better.
Well, I don't think the only other thing is the clown change.
Yeah, that's kind of like the big thing of this whole.
That's the big thing, right? Speed bottles. What do you think of NOS bottles, energy drink bottles?
That's definitely going to be interesting. The way that they were explaining it in the video at the beginning of the developer update, how like you'd want to throw so basically the purple bottles as they are right now, those are negatives because it slows down the survivor, right? But then you've got the yellow gas, which would act as a positive, and it doesn't speed up just the survivor, but it also speeds you up as well as the killer. So what you would do is, at least from what they're showcasing, they threw a yellow bottle at a pallet, and then they threw, purple bottle at the other side of the jungle gym. And that way they could chase the survivor through the yellow gas, potentially get the pallet down, or the survivor can just be like, well, I don't know if the pallet's still there or not, and just run through it, but they get that burst of speed and they could potentially make that window before the killer catches up.
Yeah, but I don't think a killer's dumb enough to toss a yellow thing in a spot where there's like a chance to vault, right? I mean,
it just depends. Like it's kind of
really weird.
It's kind of like bottled bloodlust in a way.
That's what I think. Yeah, that's my concern. Like this makes sense in a world where there's no bloodlust, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're making this change specifically to get him a little bit more in a better spot for when bloodlust does get taken away. Because think of the amount of clowns you go against that literally just bloodlust you around a pallet and just throw all the bottles.
All of them.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them, yeah.
Yeah. You never really see a clown break a pallet. They're just going to bloodlust you around it. So I feel like this kind of like tweaks him into a way that if they're going to continue to do that when bloodlust gets disabled, I think it'll make it to where I don't know. I feel like it's a give and take though. I feel like it's going to make people have to like main clown to understand when to throw the different bottles, because it's like it makes him a little bit more complex. Because just like when do you throw the speed boost versus
I think it's definitely cool, yeah. It's adding something different to the character, because it's literally right now he's just a bloodlust machine with a couple slowdowns that you have to toss. And
they
of
did.
course, you like
I was gonna
exhaustion
say
bottles and all that is added.
yeah.
I wonder if the speed bottles will have status effects that are negative, such as exhaustion and shit like that, and blindness, or
I don't know.
because you get hindered from the pink stuff, which makes sense, but I don't know. That'll be weird if you're exhausted in a speed boost.
I feel like his add-ons are definitely going to be tweaked a lot, so we'll have to wait for the PTB to see kind of like what they end up like converting them to and what they look like.
It'd be nice if they got rid of like all exhaustion and I actually blindness could stay,
right.
but I mean like with exhaustion, like the way it is now, it's overkill. Like you got what 30-second add-ons, and then you also have 90 seconds. Like, yeah, maybe back in the day when you could recover exhaustion while you're running, but now you can't because you're exhausted, obviously. Like it's just overkill the way it is. Like if anything, it should add on like maybe 15 seconds to your counter or something, maybe. But for it to,
you're talking about how exhaustion works as far as add-ons are concerned.
Yeah,
I think that's not really to do with this patch, but like, I feel like it has its own problem. Like, yeah, there should be some change to exhaustion add-ons for killers in general. I feel like like some killers, they have brown exhaustion add-ons. I feel like they should be in the purple range or something like that.
True.
But then, yeah, and then why is it like certain things like blindness, they're like yellow and green when it's just like, in my opinion, I think blindness isn't really relevant and like those should be the brown add-ons.
Yeah, like, exactly. That's what I mean. I think a lot of things need to be shuffled around.
For sure.
That could maybe make a change to it. But that does not have to do with this patch. We're talking about this patch.
I was trying to go back to that, sir.
Okay.
I was just going to say the other thing that I think is also going to be pretty impactful is the reload speed on Clown. I mean, they're cutting it
3 seconds.
Yeah, they're cutting
it. Swirls that bottle 3 times.
You know,
they just ready to throw some more.
It's going to make it to where, it's going to be harder to leave a certain like jungle gem and get to somewhere else because he's going to reload so fast that he's going to be able to just throw another bottle at you by the time you try to make it to another loop. So I think that's definitely going to be interesting.
If they need to make the switching to speed bottles and slow bottles like 3 seconds to 5 seconds too, or something, like to make his gameplay interesting. Because right now with a 3-second reload, that's going to be pretty wild. Because like the way to play a Clown is like stay at a loop if he doesn't throw his bottles right, and if once you hear him reloading, dip to the next loop, right? But if you hear him reloading now, like I don't think you could get to another loop if he knows how to aim. Like,
well, I mean, even them cutting the time, just base kit cutting the time, and think of the add-ons that make it to where it's even faster.
Reload speed. That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Like reload add-ons to where like he reloads what. It's gonna be what?
She's gonna shake the bottle once, and it's gonna be reloaded. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, because the way
shake reload.
Yeah, the way that they put it is like you reload what 8 bottles now because it's 4 of each, and like I think there's gonna be add-ons to where you can change like how many of each you carry, but it's just like
I feel like it can't be as ridiculous with what we're thinking. It can't be.
I don't know.
Before.
I don't know. I think it's
we'll
gonna be insane.
We'll see how it goes at the PTB on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll see. I have to check out Garden's gameplay if he's fucking streaming it at all. But I think we're done, right? That's all that is in this patch. Oh, we didn't talk about the animation teabagging. What do you think about the teabagging now?
I didn't see much of it.
They crouch once, and it's slow. You crouch, and then mid crouch you slow down, and then go to the full crouch. It's weird, but that's definitely better than the current crouch because there's no animation. Like if I gifted this game to somebody who liked the idea of the game, but didn't even like really know anything about it, they would think this game looks like it's early access sometimes. And what that crouch looks like early access. It does not look like it should be in a release game. It's insane how bad that crouch is. But
I feel like the last few patches they've been changing like the crouch just in general. Like I feel like it definitely changed
Well,
to
we-
this weird fast
we were playing on the
crouch,
PTB
yeah.
when Victor was released, right? And that the weird no animation crouch was already in the game. And we thought that was just a bug with the PTB, and then they put it
went live.
live, and we are like, "What the fuck are you thinking?"
Remember when you could point and crouch? Yeah, Pepper Ridge Farms remembers. That shit was the
crouching,
funniest thing ever, and they
Yeah.
freaking took it away. Like behavior, bring it
Well,
back.
I think they are. I think they probably are bringing it back. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, that concludes this episode of Sushicast. If you want to check episode 1, that was on survival game mega logistics and politics. Now this is about a killing game, patch notes and clowns. So yeah, this a weird swap, but we'll see. I'll try to get more of these out. Thanks for stopping by, Skyline. We'll probably have you again because your commentary is amazing. And Gabby will probably be the go-to for sure. We'll see.